So the last couple of days, I've been starting to work on a solo for my younger brother, and I've been feeling stuck. It kind of had me thinking about what are some things that have helped me when I've been in situations like this where I'm feeling stuck. And then I thought maybe I'll share some of those in case anything that's been helpful for me is helpful for you. So I've got like 5 little things that have helped me over the years and that I'm still learning to take the wisdom of. So we got number 5. This one might seem a little bit silly, but I think that it can be super important, at least for some people. Find a space conducive for choreography. Here's what I mean by that. Find a space that you can reliably go to let your creativity flow. Sounds kind of cliche. That was my dog. Rather than being in a space that distracts you or that makes it harder to focus on what you're trying to produce, find a safe space that frees your mind of other distractions and allows you to really focus in on what you're trying to do. For me, that space is either somewhere like this or the back porch. When I lived in Arizona, we had in our house a dance space upstairs. It was probably like 30 by 20, 30 by 18 feet. It was upstairs. It was like in the attic. It was super dope, and we used it a lot. But whenever I was just choreographing solo, most of the time, I'd be on the back porch. We had a mirror up there and everything, but for me, it was distracting because I would find myself looking in the mirror too much, and also the space was super echoey, and it was hard for me to focus. Whenever I went out on the back porch, though, I didn't feel any of that. It makes me feel more comfortable, and it's just one less thing that's in the way of me being able to get something put down. You know what I mean? You could almost think about it as like a painter and their art studio, you know? Let's say it was me and I'm a painter. If my art studio is a disaster, I'm gonna have a lot harder of a time trying to paint than if my studio were just organized and I knew where everything was. Number 4, study the music and let it drive you. Obviously, it's kind of a given when you're choreographing. Oh, Smokey, you're interrupting the video. Lost my train of thought, totally. Study the music and let it drive you. Now, that also might sound a little bit cliche. Like, in general, if you dance or whatever, you're told to listen to the music, study it. Sometimes when I'm choreographing, I get so focused on the actual moves or the steps themselves and how they look, and I don't just listen to the song, what it brings out in me personally, and what it sounds like, and allow that to formulate the steps that I'm trying to create, you know? Because when you're choreographing, really what you're doing is you're creating this hybrid relationship between your dance steps and the music. And if those things are not working in unison, then there's gonna be that level of disconnect, you know what I mean? Like, the music's doing this, but the steps, we're not really sure what's going on there. This is where musicality really comes into play. Learning how to break apart a song and its different musical components, learning how to isolate instruments with your ear and to hear things on their own so that you're able to pull those components of the music out and showcase them to the audience via your movement. It's the classic quote, the dancer's job is to show the audience what the music looks like. And I think that that's very true. It goes back to that idea of the relationship between the moves and the music. Number 3, focus on the expression, not just the steps. Funny, these all sound super basic, but there's more depth to them, I think. It can be super easy, and I fall into this all the time, to just want to make a cool combo. And this kind of ties into the last one, like what we were just talking about, with studying the music and letting it be what drives you. A good example of this is me and my friend Austin have kind of been working on this little piece that we're hoping to do like a video for, but I originally had choreographed the first version of it, and I taught it when I went to Arizona, and like I was able to use it and it was fine. Like, it's just, you know, he liked it. We brought it together, we looked at it in the studio, and I taught it to him, and he had some ideas for certain parts. So we changed it and edited it a little bit, and the changes that he made were not because the choreography wasn't good. Like, the choreography was fine, but it was because the steps that I was doing were not... This door's gonna swing closed. It's because the steps that I was doing were not highlighting what was going on in the music. That's something that Austin is really good at. He's great at taking what is going on in the music and displaying that in his movement. And I think that if we can stay connected to that when we choreograph, stay connected to the foundational essence of the song and what expression it draws out of us, it makes the choreographic process, if not easier, maybe more authentic. You are no longer just like a robot trying to find super cool steps, and you're being more true and authentic to the actual story of the song and what is happening in that specific piece of music that you're trying to create too. Hopefully that makes sense. Coming down to number 2, imitate, don't replicate. What do I mean by that? This is probably one of the biggest pitfalls that I've fallen into as I've choreographed. I still work through this myself all the time, and when I'm able to pull myself out of this, things always go better. So there's a difference between imitating and replicating, at least for this example. Imitating, in my mind, what I'm thinking when I say imitating is seeing something that's great, seeing something that inspires you, and creating something that is inspired from and pulling from that. Then there's replicate. Replicate is see something that is really cool, something that inspires you, or something that you know that is really good, and just try to do that thing. Which I'm not saying is always inherently a bad thing, but what I am saying is it can be crippling, because you trying to replicate what was already created over here is going to take away from what you would have been creating if you had not focused so much on that over here, if that makes any sense. It's almost like when you're a little kid and you put on your dad's shoes and you try to walk around in them, and it's really awkward because you can't keep them on your feet unless you like contort your body in all these weird ways. I feel like it's the same thing, and I found it to be the case for me. Anytime that I'm trying to create and I'm coming from a place of trying to replicate something that I saw or some aspect of individual's movement that I really like, because I want it to be good and I'm inspired by them, and I'm like, oh well, they're so amazing and I should be doing it like they're doing it. That always sort of, I kind of cut my legs out from under me, because I'm not able to be that person. I'm not able to create in the way that they create because I'm not them. So there's a difference between imitating and replicating for the sake of this illustration. Yes, you should strive to have the level of excellence that the people who inspire you do. Yes, you should have the same work ethic and drive to create something good and well made. But no, you should not only try to do what they do and carbon clone copy yourself after them. Try to make yourself into their image. So I think that kind of ties into number 2, and it'll kind of take us into the last one. Number 1, this one probably sounds the most basic of all, but find the joy. Another way that I guess I could have put this is remember your original joy. This is probably more of a Facebook mom post than anything else, but it's something that has always brought me just like perspective, you know? It's that quote that you hear now and then if you're in the dance community. It's just dancing. Don't take it so seriously. Like, no matter how you look at it, yes, we want to have a level of professionalism. We want to have a level of pride in our craft. We want to strive for excellence in all that we do. Yes, yes, and yes. At the end of the day is just dancing. Even though our first love of dance grows into a bigger thing and it branches out into all these other aspects of incorporating it into our everyday lives and potentially sustaining ourselves from it, if you're lucky, even though it grows into this thing that is more vast and that has many more facets to it, if the roots of this thing are not solid, if they are not firm, if they are not rooted in your initial passion for the art form, I feel like it's super easy to become burnt out, or it's super easy to lose your reason, lose your why, which is okay. It's good to work through that, but that can cause you to wonder, like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I spending so much time pushing to be better at something that I'm not even enjoying or having fun at anymore? Now, I'm not one of those people that is like, if you're not having fun with it, then there's no point in doing it, because hard work is not always fun, but hard work is the only way to do things right. And I don't want to get too off topic here, but I think that also ties into not only dancing for the approval of others or for the external validation. Maybe you're still doing competition dance or something, not dancing exclusively for the awards that you're going to win at competition. Not dancing exclusively for the jobs that you're going to get because of your dance ability. Not exclusively dancing for the audience because they're going to clap for you. Not dancing for something out there that's going to come back to you. Dance for you. Dance from here. Dance from what is inside of here. Stay true to the soul of your dance. Stay true to what you have been given inherently by the Creator. I know that not everyone has a relationship with God, but I think that one way that my relationship with Him has helped me as I've been on this journey of dance is I've been less prone to chase the approval of others. I feel that that really helps you to be able to stay authentic and true to your original purpose. When you aren't doing it for the external approval of others, you're not making something for other people, you are creating something as an offering to God. I believe that God gave us the gift of dance, and I believe that it is only because of Him that we are able to do it, and so He will always be first and foremost the one that I'm going to give the first fruits of my labor, if that makes sense. Nothing would be anywhere without pushing the boundaries of that thing. The stone would not get up the hill if someone was not pushing it up the hill. So there is still that component of it, of training, of studying, of being a student, really, of being willing to learn and to push yourself and to fight for that excellence and for that creativity. And there is also that time when that stone cannot be pushed anymore. And we have to be able to turn around and look at how far we've come and just enjoy where we're at. But I think all of that to say, sometimes when you're choreographing, it can be as easy as just letting yourself have fun. Just have fun. I think that when you unlock that ability, all the greatest people will tell you that that makes all the difference. And I know for myself, in my experience, when I just let myself have a little bit of fun, things start to flow. When I stop thinking about how this should look and how I'm going to make it up to standard or up to par with everything that I see around me or on the internet or whatever, it's just one more hurdle that's in my way that I'm then able to just let things flow. But those are just 5 tips that I have that have been on my mind for you, wherever you're at. If you're trying to choreograph and you're feeling stuck, I hope that those things were somewhat helpful. If you're just starting with choreography, you've been doing it for a while, I want to say congrats to you, no matter how long you've been doing it. It's not an easy thing, but it's a good thing. And I'm still working on becoming the best that I can be as well. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
But what would you say are the biggest blocks that people have to being truly creative and imaginative?
One big block is concerns about what other people think. That's a big one. I made this thing that I love, but I think other people would like it more if I made it different for them. We don't know what they would like. It's all in our head. It comes back to this thing of what I think isn't good enough. You know, if I like it, that doesn't mean anything. That's what people think. It's like, just because I like it, that doesn't give it any value. It's like, as an artist, if you like it, that's all of the value. That's the success comes when you say, I like this enough for other people to see it. Not other people like it, so it's successful. That doesn't mean anything because that's other people liking it is out of your control. All that's in your control is making the thing to the best of your ability. I talk about it, usually the way I talk about it is greatness. And that's the way I thought of it. My whole life was, my interest is in making something great. Greatness, lasting greatness, timeless. And I came to realize recently, it's all an offering to God. And if you're making an offering to God, you're not thinking about, oh, what's the budget? Or I hope this segment of the audience is going to like it. We don't think like that. It's a higher vibration. We're making the best we can make to the best of our ability out of love and devotion. That's what it is. And there is no, I'm changing it for someone else, because it can't be better than this devotional act that we're doing. There is no higher form.